In our last session, we have discussed about the particular Android Studio IDE, EVD Manager, SDK Manager, and the particular project structure, right? So in this way, your project is going to organize into your particular Android Studio IDE, right? So now, today, we are going to start our second unit. This is again one important unit, right? So the name of this unit is activities, fragments, and intents, right? So here, first of all, we start with the activities. So we can talk about what is activities and how it is participate in Android applications, right? So it's a main thing in Android application. So first of all, here, let's start with the introduction. What is Android activity, right? So the Android activity is a subclass of context theme wrapper class, right? So here, one context theme wrapper class is there, okay? What is activity? So activity is a single screen in Android, right? It is like a window or frame of Java. So this, you have only studied a core Java, right? So if you have studied about the advanced Java or GUI in Java, then you can understand what is the meaning of window and frame, right? So here, activity is a single screen in Android. So whenever you open any application, so whatever you can see, that particular thing is known as the activity, right? By the help of activity, you can place all your UI components or widgets in a single screen, right? So whenever you open the app, so here, suppose this is your activity, this is your phone, okay? This is your UI, here is your button, right? Okay. And this is your activity. This particular thing is your activity, right? Here you are going to put the edit text and one button, right? Similarly, here you are going to put the edit text and button, and here suppose a submit button, right? So this is your activity, and on this particular activity, you are going to place all your UI components and widgets, right? Here, this particular hierarchy is there. So at the root level, object class is there, right? Then context wrapper, then context theme wrapper, and then activity class is there, right? So this is the hierarchy. This is the hierarchy. Okay. Now, where you can find this? So to use activities in our application, we need to define an activities with required attributes in manifest file. So what is the name of our manifest file? So that is Android manifest.xml, right? So this is the view of our Android manifest.xml file. So this is XML file. How you can know that? So it starts with this particular document start with the notification that this is the XML file, right? So in web development, you have studied this. Now here, as this is XML, I hope you can understand the meaning of it. You can put all your particular user defined tags and each and everything, right? So here, manifest, application, and then activity, right? So where your activities resides, your activity you can configure from the Android manifest.xml file. Here, as in this program, there is only one activity, and the name of that activity is .main activity, right? Suppose if you create another activity, second activity in your code, right? So it will be also listed out over here, and the name of that activity would be dot second activity, right? So from Android manifest.xml file, you can find the particular activity names, right? Now, how you can define the activity? So activity attribute Android call name will represent the name of class, and we can also add multiple attributes like icon, label, theme, permissions, etc. to an activity element based on our requirement. So it's totally requirement upon the clients what they want, right? And in Android application, activities can be implemented as a subclass of activity, like as shown below. So whenever you open .java file, right? So there is one main activity .java file, right? So in that, this line would be there. Main activity extends the activity. Main activity extends the activity, right? Now, this is one important diagram. Everyone has to know about this, right? Android activity lifecycle. Okay. So in Java, you have studied about the multi-threading, right? In that you studied about the thread, right? So every thread has a life cycle, right? Every thread has a life cycle. So similarly, here every Android application has a life cycle, right? So this is the particular Android activity life cycle. So from launching to shut down of your application pass through how many stages, right? So that is represented over here, right? So we will also see this practically. We will also see this practically, how this particular thing happens, right? But right now, please concentrate over here that whenever you launch your application, here on create, on start, and on resume method is going to call, right? So at the very first, on create, on start, on resume method is called. If you define, then it's fine. If you not define, then it is automatically defined by your program. After that, your activity is running. After that, your activity is running, right? As we experience sometimes whenever we are working with one application, right? And we are minimizing that particular application. Okay. So in that, on pause and on stop method is going to call. Okay, right? So whenever another activity comes into the foreground, right, on pause method is going to be called. The activity is no longer visible. That's why on stop method is going to call, right? Because right now, currently you are dealing with another activity. So your current activity goes in a background. Okay, so it is not working. That's why it is in a pause mode, and it is not working. That's why it is in a stop. So in that case, on pause and on stop method is going to call. Okay. Now, whenever user returns to the particular activity, right? So whenever user returns to the particular activity, then on resume method is going to call. On resume method is going to call. And whenever user navigates to the activity, now actually you are working in the activity, then again on restart method is going to call. It again calls the on start, again calls all this hierarchy in sequence, right? So here you can see it is not going to call on create method again. It will start from the on start method, right? Now, suppose apps with the higher priority needs a memory, right? Then it will again, it will crash, it will kill your application process, and user navigates to the higher priority application, and again from the on create it is going to be called. Okay, now the activity is finished or being destroyed by the system. So whenever you close the activity, even in a background, from the background, right, then it will call the on destroyed method. It will call the on destroyed method, right? And then your activity is going to shut down. Okay, so this is the overall life cycle of the particular Android activity, right? So this we are also going to see practically when these particular methods are going to call. Okay, is there any doubt in this Android activity life cycle? Okay, so here let's understand what is the job of each and every method in a brief. So these are the particular Android activity lifecycle methods. In that, a first method is on create method. It is called when activity is first created, right? Second method is on start method. So it is called when the activity is becoming visible to the user, right? Third, on resume is called when activity will start interacting with the user. Fourth, on pause method is called when activity is not visible to the user. You please try to understand the words in a particular sentence. That activity is not visible to the user, right? It is there, but it is not visible to the user. Fifth, on stop method is called when activity is no longer visible to the user. No longer visible to the user. Sixth, on restart method called after your activity is stopped, right? And last one is on destroy method called before the activity is destroyed, right? So these are the 7 important methods of Android activity lifecycle, right? I hope you all are clear with this. Okay, so let's try to go in a detail of each and every method. So you will also get another idea of the particular methods. So the first is on create method. So how it looks like whenever you open the Java program, right? So this is the first callback method, and it fires when the system creates an activity for the first time. During the activity creation, activity entered into the created state. Now, if we have an application startup logic that needs to perform only once during the life cycle of an activity, then we can write that logic on onCreate method. So here, how you can create the onCreate method, right? So onCreate method is by default created whenever your Android Studio project starts, and into that, when you go into the main activity .java file, then this onCreate method is already there, right? So there is a one class, bundle class, that pass the reference as an argument, and this overrides the onCreate method of your particular class, right? And set content view. So here, whenever your activity is going to launch, your particular application is going to launch, then which activity you want to start first, right? So that you need to define over here. So here I want to launch my main activity underscore main file, activity underscore main file, right? So this is our file, this is layout, and this is activity underscore main, right? So this is the overall structure of on create method, right? After on create method, on start method is going to start. So on start callback method will invoke when an activity entered into the started state, right? By completing on create method, by completing on create method. Now the on start method will make an activity visible to the user, right? Will make an activity visible to the user, remember this. And this method execution will finish very quickly. So whenever actually you are able to see your activity, right? That is the on start method. How you can create the on start method? So you just need to write @override protected void on start, and then you need to override. I hope you know the meaning of override concept, right? So super dot on start method, super dot on start method, right? So this way you can create your on start method. I will show you, right? Next is on resume method. So when an activity entered into the resume state, the system invoke on resume callback method, right? In this state, activity start interacting. This is important, right? In this state, activity start interacting with the user. What does that mean? That user can see the functionality and a designing part of an application on a single screen. So in my first slide, I draw the particular screen, activity screen, right? So we are talking about that. Now, mostly the core functionality of an app is implemented into the on resume method, right? The app will stay in this particular resume state until another activity happens. Another activity happens to take a focus, right? Focus means activated. Focus away from the app, like getting a phone call. Suppose if you are right now interacting with the some application, suppose if you are watching pictures in your Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook, right? And in between the phone call came. So at that time, your particular focus now will be on phone call activity, right? Or a screen turn off, etc. So in case of any interruption event happens in resume state, the activity will then enter into the pause state. So whenever you are surfing the web or whenever you are surfing the Facebook or Instagram, then if the phone call comes in between, then your current activity goes into the on pause state, right? And right now the current focus, right now the current focus will be on phone call, will be on phone call, right? And the system will invoke the on pause method, and the system will invoke the on pause method. Okay, now on resume. So how you can create the on resume method? So after an activity return from the pause state to resume state, the system again will call the on resume. So now your phone call is finished. Again, you are going to back to your activity. So on resume method is, and system will again call on resume method. Due to this, we need to implement on resume method to initialize the components that we release during the on pause method. This is very important, right? So whenever, suppose this is one activity is running, phone call comes, at that time your current activity goes into the on pause state, and it accumulates that releases the particular components whatever you are using with that activity, right? And your current focus is on your phone call. Now the phone call is finished. Now again you are entering into the particular Instagram, right? And then again you start surfing, right? So at that time, from where you release the activities, whatever you are whatever you are doing with your Instagram application, so the method to initialize the components that we release during the on pause method, at that time you need to write. So here suppose, say for example, you are dealing with the camera, right? So at that time it initializes again back. Suppose if you are taking a pictures, phone call comes, at that time your camera application will go into the on resume store, on resume, array, on pause state. Again, if the ends, again you come back to the camera application, and again you need to initialize the particular camera. So at that time you need to write that particular functionality in on resume method. So how you can write it? Again, it is very simple. You need to write the override public void on resume. You need to override the superclass on resume method. Okay, and then you can write the particular logic. Okay, right? So it is very simple, guys. But here you need to only remember what you want to perform when, right? And according to that, you have to put the logic. According to that, you have to put the logic. Okay, now let's talk about the on pause method. So as we have seen, there is that when the on pause method is going to call, right? So here, whenever the user leaves an activity or the current activity is being paused, then a system invokes the particular on pause method. So the on pause method is used to pause the operations, like stop playing the music, stop playing the music. When the activity is in the pause state, or pass an activity while switching from one app to another app, because every time only one app can be focused. Yes, every time only one app can be focused. So what happens whenever, suppose you are listening a music, or in some, suppose say for example in a YouTube, whenever you YouTube application, you are watching the videos, right? If you minimize the application, then automatically the video stops playing, right? Again, when you before destroying it, right now we have not destroyed the application, we have just minimized the application. Again, if you resume that application, so from where you have stopped, from that particular point your video is going to play, right? So that kind of functionality we are talking about here. Okay, so whenever your thing is going into the on pause, right? So the current state, suppose if we take a same example of our previous resume method, right now we are taking a pictures and phone call comes, right? So I need to release the camera, because phone call is the high priority activity, right? So my camera will minimize that particular activity, go into the pause state, right? And at the same time I need to release the camera, right? So m camera dot release, and I need to make it null, because right now my currently high priority focus activity will be phone call, right? So I hope you can understand this. On stop method is very simple. So the system will invoke the on stop callback method when an activity no longer visible to the user, right? The activity will enter into the stop state. So this happens when this happens due to current activity enter into the resume state, or newly launched activity covers complete screen, or it has been destroyed, right? So when this where this particular on stop method is important, so it is useful to release all the app resources. It is useful to release all the app resources which are no longer needed to user. How you can create it? Again, you need to write protected, void, on stop, super, on stop, right? You need to override this particular method. Okay, and let's talk about the on restart method. So the system will invoke on restart method when an activity restarting itself after stopping it, right? So the on start method will restore the state of activity from the time that is being stopped. So from where stop, it stores the state of activity, right? So as I told you that the music right now, if you are talking with the YouTube, right? If you minimize it, okay, so it calls the on pause and stop method. Again, you restart it. So from where you have stopped the music, from where your music has been stopped, so from there only it is going to start. It is not going to start from the beginning, right? So how this happens? So on start method will restore the state of activity from the time that is being stopped. So the on restart callback method in Android activity will always be followed by on start method. We'll always remember this, right? So that's why we have call in our activity lifecycle like that. And how you can create the particular activity? So
મમ્મી અવાજ બંધ કરી દે હવે કેટલા પણ જોર કેટલું જોર જોરમાં કરે
okay, right? So you can call the restart method like this, right? Now the final method is on destroy method. So here the system will invoke on destroyed method before an activity is destroyed, right? And this is the final callback method received by the Android activity. So the system will invoke this on destroyed callback method either the activity is finishing or a system destroying the activity to steal the space, right? So after calling the on destroyed method, your application is already finished, right? It is killed, right? Either you stop or a system will stop it. Okay, so this is the on destroyed method. And again, how you can create the on destroyed method? So like this. So this is the particular syntax to create the on destroyed method, right? Is there any doubt in Android activity lifecycle? Anyone, guys? Right? So these are the particular 7 important methods we have in Android activity lifecycle. Okay. So the practical example will take some more time. So we are going to continue with our practical example in our next session. right? So this particular session contains only the theory portion and the brief introduction of and detailed introduction of each and every 7 methods, right? So in our next session tomorrow, we'll see how the particular this activity is working practically. So I will show you the demo of this Android activity live, right? So I hope there is no doubt from your side, guys, right? If there is no doubt from your side, then we can stop our session over here. Are we fine with this? Anyone?
Okay, sir.
Okay, right? So let's stop our session over here, and we will talk the practical example of this Android activity lifecycle in our next session. Okay, right? So let me finish.